Yes, I am.
You're wondering if you're,
Well, Storm Watch is going around is sponsored by Touchstone Energy. We'll be talking about a brand new tropical depression, the first one of the season for the Atlantic Basin. That'll be coming up in a moment. But first, let's talk about severe weather. And a lot of it yesterday, for sure, was developing from portions of Texas where flood watches and warnings have gone into effect for many northwestern counties right now. We saw a lot of hail reports around Denver and Colorado Springs. Today, we think that severe weather threat will be back into the western plains of Nebraska and Kansas. Watch out around Colorado, into western Texas too. And there could be another threat of some strong to severe thunderstorms from around Chicago back towards St. Louis to around Columbia and Jefferson City in the state of Missouri. Let's see what happened yesterday. Every place where you see a blue dot here indicates at least wind or hail damage. A lot of it, again, in and around central Illinois into west central Indiana. Also many spots, many locations in the state of Ohio and lower Michigan around Kalamazoo too. And of course the big severe thunderstorm outbreak and hail reports and wind damage just south and southeast of Denver around Colorado Springs, and more to come for the upcoming day today. Our current weather map, we've got one front beginning to bog down now from, let's say, Escanaba, Michigan down towards Green Bay to Lone Rock to around Burlington, Iowa. That will be the focus again for more strong thunderstorms. Upper level storm, which you don't see right now, which was over Georgia yesterday, drifts back towards the west today around Alabama and Mississippi. So you folks that live around Montgomery, Jackson, Tupelo, and Greenville, you could be looking at some numerous storms this afternoon, slow-moving storms that may drop a lot of rainfall, so do keep that in mind. Basically fair conditions right now, but with the heating of the day, that is really going to change rapidly. Many of you folks right now that live in northwestern Texas are looking at heavy rain still falling in and around Lubbock and drifting on northward into southwestern Kansas. There's been anywhere between 3 and 5 inches of rainfall, and more to come. We've got more developing at this time. This will begin to fade away as the morning goes on, only to redevelop this afternoon. And you can see that we could be looking at another inch or 2 or 3 inches of rainfall for West Texas, parts of Illinois and Missouri, and of course near the Gulf Coast of Alabama, Georgia, and also right around northwestern Florida. We're going to be looking at some more torrential downpours likely here. Flood watches right now, well, you can see in the green, does cover a large chunk of Iowa, parts of southwestern Wisconsin. Not much going on here, but keep in mind we do have saturated ground, and that is going to cause some more worry this afternoon. South side of Chicago looking at some thunderstorms at this hour, but by far the worst of the weather is over southwestern Kansas right now and northwestern Texas, where many counties are looking at flood warnings out right now, in the area between Lubbock and also Amarillo. Rainfall amounts at this time between 1 and about 3 inches per hour there. Now let's take a look at the tropics, because yesterday at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Tropical Depression number 1 was born. And again, this is the latest coordinates, latest stats, 28.3 degrees north, 57.2 degrees west. There it sits about 525 miles east-southeast of Bermuda. And again, its top sustained winds 35 miles per hour, may become a minimal tropical storm within the next 12 to 18 hours. Now again, this is not our tropical depression right here. This is an upper level storm that will back its way westward into Virginia as the day goes on. No further strengthening is expected with this system. But this right here is our tropical depression. Closer inspection, we will show you that all of the convection right now, as well to the east and north of the center of circulation, which is located just about right in through here, until this would begin to wrap around the center of circulation, the convection. We don't expect any rapid strengthening, but we do think we could be looking at a minimal tropical storm at least by this time tomorrow morning, and maybe by later this afternoon. The Western Caribbean, well, we're looking at a couple of clusters of showers and storms, but no big deal. Same thing going on in the islands right now. And looking farther eastward off the coast of Africa, where we saw a major tropical wave beginning to work its way westward. But once again, the waters off the coast of Africa this time of the year, relatively cool, way too early to worry about the Cape Bird season. So again, looks like this wave will be harmlessly passing its way towards the west and dissipating over the next couple of days.
What's the weather going to be like where you're traveling to tomorrow? Find out with a wake-up call from 1-900-WEATHER. Call 1-900-WEATHER, 95 cents a minute from a Touchstone phone.
This program was sponsored by Touchstone Energy. It's the power of human connections.
Years before America's electric cooperatives forged the nationwide alliance, Touchstone Energy, neighbors built their own electric utility to power lives and communities. Now Touchstone Energy cooperatives serve millions of homes and businesses. Customers large and small get state-of-the-art technology and affordable service. From the one-room schoolhouse to the communities and businesses of tomorrow, trust Touchstone Energy, the power of human connections. We are America's electric cooperatives.
An air conditioning system must be reliable because service calls can be expensive. That's why people around the world rely on Carrier in
100% pure fun. Whatever you're in the mood to watch, it's on the Showtime networks.
To order, call Comcast today.
Big Baller Records and Films presents South Coast Ballers, featuring Po' Boy, King James, The Mint Squad, Live Luciano, TQ, Lady Dice, Kadesh, Wheeze, The Jackal, Dirt, and Violence. South Coast Ballers, in stores June 1st. Get it now. Get it now. We're the biggest ballers on the block. We don't see nobody.
Keep you ahead of the storm. The Weather Channel team monitors, tracks, analyzes, keeping you prepared. That's what we do.
The Weather Channel, keeping you ahead of the storm.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Good morning. It's time now for Storm Watch, which is sponsored by Rayovac. Still some heavy soaking rain and some intense thunderstorms are bearing down the plain states, and we'll have more details in just a few moments. In the meantime, let's see what's happening across the tropics, where already this morning we have our first tropical storm of the season. Tropical Storm Arlene, which continues to churn up the waters across the Atlantic. Right now, it's roughly centered 510 miles to the southeast of Bermuda, and it's packing winds of 40 miles per hour and slowly drifting off towards the north-northwest. Now, just over the last couple of satellite pictures that came in, we're starting to see more convection. So it's getting a little bit better organized, and hence that's why our tropical depression was upgraded to a tropical storm. Now, the good news right now, this tropical storm is not affecting any land areas, and we're not really expecting that to change any over the next couple of days or so. Just slowly drifting off towards the north, affecting the open waters of the Atlantic. From a broader perspective, we can see our tropical storm right here in the Atlantic. Now, just to its west, though, there's another low-pressure area swirling off the mid-Atlantic coast. It may look fairly impressive, but it's not a tropical feature. It's just an upper-level low spinning off the coast of North Carolina right now. But as it continues to drift towards the west, we'll likely see increasing clouds and maybe some scattered showers developing for the eastern seaboard. And the rest of the tropics very, very quiet right now. Just a few tropical waves rippling off towards the west, but nothing is showing any signs of development. Meanwhile, stateside, we have extensive cloud cover right now from Nebraska and Kansas and running southward towards Texas. With those clouds, we've had some heavy showers and very strong thunderstorms and some localized flooding, with some of the worst conditions continuing this morning across the Texas Panhandle. What's going on is that we have a series of cold fronts dropping across the Midwest, and that is helping to set off the showers and storms. And there'll be a lot more storms where that came from. In fact, most of the plains and most of the Mississippi Valley and the deep south does have the potential of seeing some fairly dangerous thunderstorms today. And along with the thunderstorms, they'll likely drop some very heavy amounts of rainfall, perhaps well over an inch in some places. And that will only help to compound existing flooding problems. Flood watches right now from Chicago and extending southward towards western Texas. Stay tuned, we'll have further updates coming up in just a moment.
Coming up on Weather Center, a Saturday soaking for parts of the south, a weekend of warm weather in the northeast, and will the dryout begin in the central states? Your forecast ahead.
This program was sponsored by Rayovac Maximum Alkaline Batteries. Maximum power, maximum value.
Rayovac has the first alkaline battery that can be recharged, so its power lasts and lasts, and that can save you hundreds of dollars. So this Father's Day, instead of giving Dad something he'll never use, give him something he'll use over and over. Rayovac Rechargeable Alkaline. Look for special savings on Rayovac chargers at these and other fine retailers.
Today's lawnmowers have a broad range of quality features to help.
Up in the Atlantic, it is our first tropical storm of the 1999 season, and here are the latest coordinates now on Tropical Storm Arlene. Tropical Storm Arlene is now centered. As you can see, the coordinates, it is centered at 29.2 north and 57.4 west, 485 miles east-southeast of Bermuda. That's the tiny island right here. Sustained winds have gone up. It is 50 miles per hour, sustained winds. A little bit of a movement now as opposed to what was drifting with our last advisory, now moving to the north-northwest at 2 miles per hour. So very, very slowly, but a little bit of a wobble to the north-northwest. And the estimated pressure has gone down. It's estimated 1,000 millibars. So let's go ahead and look at the satellite perspective here, and a reminder that this is a little unusual to see something developing in this area this time of the year. The sea surface temperatures are actually around 77 degrees. We'd like to see them in the lower 80s really to see some development, but satellite pictures have been indicating that some of the low-level inflow has been coming in from the south and southeast as opposed to more stable air up to the north, and maybe that's what's aiding and abetting this, but it has looked more organized. There's still a pretty good outflow as we head across the north and northeastern semicircle, the northern semicircle of the storm, and the convection, or the thunderstorms, the central dense overcast here, is wrapping around that center of circulation, and that is really a sign that it's trying to get a little bit more organized. Main point to make here is that this is still not any immediate threat to any landmass. This is quite some distance from the U.S. and from Bermuda, well away from Puerto Rico and moving away from that direction very, very slowly. Any movement that we see, we think will continue to be a very slow movement, and a reminder too that you just kind of need to watch this with us as we progress Arlene. We think that it might have a chance to strengthen a little bit more as we head into the overnight, so monitor the situation along with us. We'll take you a little bit further northward. Let me step aside so you can get a perspective of where Arlene is compared to the East Coast, and you can certainly understand it's quite some distance away. This is a little swirl too, and it looks like it might have something important or some important function out here. It's actually an upper level low. It's not tropical, so no need to worry about that. But it is pulling some moisture and some clouds, light moisture, back across portions of the eastern seaboard, and some cooler temperatures across that region as well. Eventually, this is going to lift on out. As we head southward toward Florida, some run-of-the-mill thunderstorms, and that's pretty much what we're finding. This actually is the more favored area for development this time of the year, but we're not seeing anything developing at this time. Little wave here approaching Puerto Rico,
so some convection or some thunderstorms here, but the upper level pattern not favorable for development across that particular region. And then as we go on into the eastern Pacific, again, not seeing a whole lot here. Generally speaking, just along the intertropical convergence zone, some showers and some thunderstorms. Let's get into what's happening across the lower 48. And again, we're going to find lots of thunderstorms here, but most of the severe weather is really calming down, and that's certainly some good news. We have a watch area that remains in effect. This actually at the top of the hour will expire. And we are finding still a few severe thunderstorm warnings into southwestern sections of South Dakota, but things have quieted down substantially into eastern Colorado. Here into Benton County, severe thunderstorm warning, so watch out around Martin. Could find some hail and some gusty winds there. And around San Antonio, flash flood warnings for Bexar County.